Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dread Time Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Phobia, and tonight we take a look into the world of creepypastas. Before we begin, did any of you watch goofy kid shows when you were younger? Well, the characters in this story did too, except they've come to find out that one of their favorite shows maybe wasn't so kid-friendly. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy Candle Cove. Net Nostalgia Forum, Television Local. Skyshale33 writes, Subject, Candle Cove, Local Kid Show. Does anyone remember this kid show? It was called Candle Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found a reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 1971 or 1972. I lived in Ironton at that time. I don't remember what station, but I do remember it was on at a weird time, like 4 p.m.? Mike Painter65 writes, Subject, Candle Cove Local Kid Show. It seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove. Was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. Skyshale33 writes, Yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built from parts of other dolls. Real low budget. His head was an old porcelain doll. Looked like an antique that didn't belong to Under the Body. I don't remember what station it was. I don't think it was WTSF though. Jaren 2005 writes, Sorry to resurrect an old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Skyshale. I think Candle Cove only ran for a couple months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was Channel 58, whatever station that was. Mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Candle Cove, and it was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughingstock, and Pirate Percy wasn't such a good pirate because he got scared too easy. There was a lot of music constantly playing. I don't remember the girl's name. Janice or Jade or something? I think it was Janice. Skyshale33. Thank you, Jaren. Memories came flooding back when you mentioned the Laughingstock in Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a wooden smiling face with the lower jaw submerged. It always looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had that awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the wooden plastic model to the foam puppet version of the head that talked. Mike Painter65 writes, Haha, I remember now too. Do you remember this part, Skyshale? You have to go inside. Skyshale33 writes, Ugh, Mike, I got a chill reading that. Yes, I remember. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go into, like a cave or a dark room where the treasure was, and the camera would push on the Laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. With his 2 eyes askew and that flopping foam jaw and the fish line that held it open and closed. Oh, it looked so creepy and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had that face that was just a handlebar mustache above a really tall, narrow teeth. Kevin Hart writes, I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when this show was on. Nightmare fuel. Jaren 2005 writes, That wasn't the villain, the puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick, Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too, but it was on top of the mustache. I used to think that meant he only had one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette. The Skin Taker. I can't believe the crap they let us watch back then. Kevin Hart writes, Holy crap, The Skin Taker? What kind of kid show were you watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the skin taker showed up. He just descended out of nowhere on his screens. Just a dirty skeleton wearing a brown top hat and a cape, and his eyes were too big for the skull. Good God almighty. SkyShale33 writes, wasn't his top hat and cloak sewn up all crazily? Was that supposed to be children's skin? Mike Painter65 writes, yeah, I think so. And I remember his mouth, it didn't open or close. His jaw just slid back and forth. And I remember the little girl asked, why does your mouth move like that? And the skin taker didn't look at the little girl, but at the camera and said, to grind your skin. SkyShale33 writes, I am so relieved that other people remember this terrible show. I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream I had where the opening jingle ended and the show faded in from black and all the characters were there, but the camera was just cutting to each of their faces and they were just screaming. Puppets and marionettes were flailing spastically and all just screaming. The little girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it. Kevin Hart writes, I don't think that was a dream. I remember that. I remember that was an episode. SkyShale33 writes, No, that's not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally, they're just standing there in a place crying and screaming for the whole show. Kevin Hart writes, maybe I'm just manufacturing the memory because you just said that, but I swear to God, I remember seeing what you described. They all just screamed. Jaren 2005 writes, oh God, yes, the little girl Janice, I remember seeing her shake and the skin taker screaming through his gnashing teeth, his jaw careening so wildly I thought it would come off its wire hinges. I turned it off, and that was the last time I watched it. I ran to tell my brother, and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. Mike Painter65 writes, I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the early 70s, when I was 8 or 9, and if she remembered a kid's show, Candle Cove. She said she was surprised I could remember that and asked why. And she said, because I used to think it was so strange that you would say, I'm going to go watch Candle Cove now, Mom. And then you would tune the TV to static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show. That was Candle Cove. It's one of my all-time favorite creepypastas, and I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. And thank you for listening. Like I always say in closing, check under your bed, look in your closet, and sleep with the light on. The life you save may very well be your own. Good night, everyone.